And with that, I'm interested, and Matt Hasselbeck, 18 years in the NFL. I'm very interested today.
And you are interesting, Colin.
Well, it's supposed to be a little. Okay. First, I'm going to start with I'm jealous because you, and I love this, took the train and went to a Nate Bargatze, he's a great comedian in Boston last night. You just got back. I think he's absolutely outrageously funny. So I'm just going to say right now, I'm not only jealous of your pro career, but your comedic choices. So congratulations. You're a little road weary, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm good. But listen, you were at the Live Tour, so it's not like you had a boring weekend. I mean, come on. Let's not lie here.
Okay. So I said, it's okay if you don't want to play Caleb Williams, but I do think it was a little strategic. Burrow played, Mahomes played, Spencer Rattler played, everybody but Tom Brady played. Like the whole world played this weekend. And it was almost like he was saying, he's not quite there. I don't need another week of heat from the Chicago media. He took a lot of snaps in practice. It felt a little strategic, did it not?
Yeah, I sort of agree. I mean, everything that Caleb Williams does, because he was the first pick overall, because they basically got rid of everyone around him last year, built the team around him this year. Everything he does is under the microscope. So, yeah, I'm sure there is some of that protecting him. There's also something with joint practices now where coaches don't feel like they need to play their ones in the preseason game because they get those reps in a controlled environment where guys don't take hits, where the quarterback wears a different color jersey, and, you're keeping your guy healthy. And I think that might be part of this also. If there wasn't a joint practice, I think he would have played in the game.
Okay, so I said this earlier about Jaxson Dart. You and your generation got thrown to the wolves. You didn't have 10,000 snaps by the time you were 14. Jaxson Dart is a 3-year starter in the SEC with Lane Kiffin. It's had private coaching, 7-on-7. I don't want to hear about, we're going to work him in. It's like, you know what, Matt, they got a great left tackle, a number 1 receiver. I think Brian Daboll is a pretty darn good offensive coach. Maybe you give Russell the first start. This is not Anthony Richardson. 41 college starts in the SEC with Lane Kiffin. Why would you not just figure out if the kid can play?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, and I'm actually just peeking at some of the ages of some of the rookie quarterbacks. I mean, just because a guy's a rookie doesn't mean he's the youngest guy. Bo Nix is 25 years old, as an example. But no, I grew up in the era of, you sit on the bench for a while. I mean, Tom Brady did that. Aaron Rodgers did that. I know that was my experience as well. I think the New York Giants have been burned, and so they are really sticking to the plan. They've invested heavily in veteran quarterbacks, in leadership, in process-driven guys who've been there, done it, made mistakes, had success, and Jameis Winston and Russell Wilson. So I think they're going to be slow and measured and patient with Jaxson Dart, who they do like a lot. But I don't think he's ready. And I do think the best plan is to start a guy like Russell Wilson and let Jaxson watch. But here's the danger. Don't just have him sit there and watch. Train him and prepare him to play the way that Patrick Mahomes was trained and preparing to play when he was sitting back watching Alex Smith start during his rookie year at the Kansas City Chiefs. There's activeness to the passivity of being the backup if you do it right.
So I watched every snap Shedeur Sanders took, and I know there's a lot I don't know. Film study, galvanizing teammates, coachability, pre-snap stuff. I've always understood that's 30, 35, 40% of quarterback. I don't see that. But I do see how comfortable. Are you frenetic? Are you comfortable? Are you confident? Do you move well? All the stuff that I'm allowed to see, I think Shedeur's college traits transferred to the NFL. I think he was accurate. I think he's more, I'm tired of hearing he's a pocket guy. He moves, I have highlights. He moves fine. I don't know how he is off. I don't know film, but I was impressed with him. Why should I not be?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of encouraging things there. I mean, on the field, he's a guy that looks like he belongs. I don't think he's going to be their starting quarterback this year. I think Joe Flacco will be their starting quarterback, and it's just a weird situation because they've got 4 guys and someone's got to go. You would think. Well, Kenny Pickett's missed so much time in training camp; he really hasn't been around. And then the young quarterback Gabriel, he's been injured also. So this is an opportunity for Shedeur. My big question is, will the Cleveland Browns have the courage to keep 4 quarterbacks? And courage is the word I'm using because it's like no one else does that. It doesn't make any sense. But, Ray Rhodes, one of my old head coaches, used to say, hey, we're going to kill a mosquito with a sledgehammer at this position. And it's like, that's not the best way to kill a mosquito, but I get the point. We're going to overdo it. And I think this is a team that has gone without a quarterback for so long that they might just say, hey, listen, it's that important of a position. We like what we have here, the traits that he's showing. Let's hold on to him and develop him. On the field, he doesn't give me pause at all. He doesn't worry me at all. Off the field and what he's like in the locker room, that's the part that I just don't know. There are some red flags, but it's hard for me to sit here and judge that from where I'm sitting. But I just know that, being the backup quarterback to someone like Joe Flacco, you're probably not going to have a guy walking with you on your entrance, getting off the bus this year. It's going to be a different feeling from being the star quarterback in college to potentially, the second, third, or maybe even 4th string quarterback for the Cleveland Browns.
So Burrow played. I don't want Aaron Rodgers playing behind backup offensive linemen at his age. I don't want Kirk Cousins playing. We'll get to Stafford in about 3 minutes. But I just want to ask, Burrow played, Mahomes played. Did you want to, when you were not at your last year, but I'm talking about maybe 4 years left to play. So you don't want to get hit, and you know the game and you know the reads. But did you want to be out there in preseason?
Yeah, absolutely. I wanted to play. And like when Mike Holmgren was the head coach, like we basically had this kind of agreement. And he basically was like, all right, you can play until you take a hit. Like until you take an unnecessary hit or until you take a hit. The tough thing for me as a starting quarterback, I would feel bad for my offensive linemen because they had to stay in the game as long as I was in the game. And so I'm putting them at risk. Maybe I'm not at risk, but I'm putting them at risk, and so usually I think after about a quarter, you're feeling like, okay, it's time to go. Now, the one thing that I did like, and I thought was really good in terms of process is I liked, coming in at halftime, getting used to that halftime break, and then coming back out and having a drive. Or right before the end of the first half, getting a chance to work on 2-minute with all your new hand signals with any players that are new players on your team. Those things are really valuable that you don't get to simulate in practice. But sure, you want to compete, you want to be out there. And usually you need the coaches to say, no, time for you to sit down. You don't get to play anymore today.
So Matt Stafford he's not even dressing for practice. And as I've aged, I feel pretty good. My back isn't great. I wake up, need to stretch. Matt Stafford's got a back injury. He's taken a lot of hits, most of them in Detroit. Does that worry you a little?
Well, your back doesn't surprise me, first off, okay? Sitting is the new smoking. You sit all day long, so your back probably feels like trash. No, I am concerned about Matthew Stafford's back. I had a bad back injury in 2008. Usually you can tell how bad a quarterback's back injury is by if the team sends him to California to see Dr. Bob Watkins. If they do that, it's serious. Now, it's a little harder here because he's already in LA. But no, I'm concerned. I'm definitely concerned if you take the factors of his age and all those types of things. Listen, in 2008, I hurt my back in a preseason game against Jared Allen and the Minnesota Vikings. It was just like this weird thing. It wasn't that bad, but it never got better. It never got better that entire year. And, the closest thing I could equate it to is you burn your mouth on a hot piece of pizza or something. And it doesn't get better quick. And that's kind of what the back injury typically is. There's all different types of back injuries, but they just don't seem to get better quick. And then even if they do get better, you've missed all this time of heavy weight training or physicality that goes into your off season, and you're just not the version of yourself that you normally are. So I'd be very concerned if I was a Rams fan right now, just because Stafford is valuable and it's just not a great place to be. I've been there.
Okay, so J.J. McCarthy made one really good throw. It was a heater. And then on another throw, he badly overthrew an open receiver, and it was a heater. And I've heard these comments. They're trying to get him to do some off-speed stuff. Everything. I remember when Kaepernick was in, that was the knock. Like, everything's a fastball. And I think to myself, I mean, he's been playing since he was probably 7. Like, they're teaching him how to play quarterback. I mean, I don't know. I look at that and I think you don't hear very often where a first-round quarterback, you're trying to get, the tempo of the speed of the ball. I'm like, Kevin O'Connell's probably a great teacher, but I watched him and I thought it's fine, but like there is kind of one speed. What do I make of those comments?
Well, he's got good coaches in Kevin O'Connell and Josh McCown. We trust those guys. But to me, I would say you got to use the other clubs in your bag. It can't be driver, 3-wood, 2-iron, 4-iron. Sometimes there's a 9-iron in there. There's a sand wedge. I mean, there's phrases in the quarterback room like KYP, know your personnel. If you're throwing to certain guys, it's got to be a different club. Sometimes you're throwing over defenders instead of through lanes. And so those are all things that I think come with experience. He played a lot at Michigan, didn't throw the ball a ton at Michigan. But I think what J.J. McCarthy has, he's got the intangibles that you cannot coach. I think you can coach the what club in the bag are you using. I think you can coach that. I'm someone who would buy on the Minnesota Vikings right now. I think this is a good team. I think this quarterback will have a good year. But certainly the analogy that you used with the young Colin Kaepernick, I think that's a great example of a guy that, has a great arm, a very strong arm, can throw a tight spiral, throw it far. But the clubs in the bag is certainly a thing.
Matt Hasselbeck, road weary. I mean, just literally racing in front of his screen to get on the show, buddy. And I always appreciate that, the effort.
Awesome. See you, Colin.
All right. Matt Hasselbeck.